This is Ray Gillian, hanging out in SOHO. And today we're visiting with, well, you guess? Did you guess yet who we're visiting with? That's right, Malcolm Morley. Gregory Batcock says in his book on superrealism that Malcolm Morley is considered the finest painter to have worked in the medium and founder of the medium called superrealism. Malcolm's grown quite a lot since these Rotterdams and what have you, and we're going to wander over and see what's going on now. Malcolm?
Hello.
This is Malcolm Morley. He's working on, what's this? A pool table?
It's the configuration of the billiards and stick on the table of the painting of Vincent van Gogh.
I don't know. Can you see that there? It's the configuration of the billiards and the stick. Okay.
And I'm trying to make a painting of a reconstruction of the funeral of Vincent van Gogh, which I'm calling A Passion for the Funeral of Vincent van Gogh.
Well, Malcolm, that's a far cry from the Rotterdam, is it, that we just saw over there? Or is that, that is the Rotterdam?
No, that's called the Queen of Bermuda. I was wondering if I should continue to put this red ball here, for example. And let's do that.
Would you just give us a sort of explanation of what it is you're doing here to make a painting from?
Vincent van Gogh, when he died, was put on a billiard table and lowered into a coffin by the undertaker and his mutes. This is some kind of description, you know, some kind of history description. So I'm using these visual descriptions and constructing models from these verbal descriptions, because it's just written accounts of this funeral. And I'm constructing a kind of a tableau vivant. That's an arrangement, a life arrangement of these figures that appeared at this funeral.
So are you using models to do that, or are you
using models right now? It sounds very strange, but I've got the head of a cow's head that I got in Kansas.
Oh, we might like to see that.
Theo Van Gogh.
You're using the Bible. You have the head of a cow, which is the well. Can we go over and have a look at that, Malcolm? Now that we've
sure. Well, we'll take this over now because we've got a little bit of it going. And
here we're going over to visit.
I'm put this in a certain position as a motif in this painting. A Passion for the Funeral of Vincent van Gogh.
Now here's the cow's head you were just telling us about.
This is the head which I've been very influenced by Anton, a French dramatist, and you know, he's got this idea that Balinese theatre, for example, can express more terror, you know, in a quick, fast gesture, you know.
Well, let's
5,000 words of Shakespeare.
That's quite true. One movement is worth.
Okay. So that, like, you know, you make a gesture like, and it just happens, right?
Well,
and it's all over.
My question, of course, is Vincent going to have the head of a cow in the painting, or are we going to have Vincent's head?
Well, this is really. Well, I don't know whether I want to show Vincent quite so. Well, it's only a symbol. It's an icon. It's not a question of attachment. So this is like going to represent a painterly object that becomes a corpse of Vincent van Gogh. So this is going to be lying in a coffin, but as coffins are very expensive, so that I'm taking all these shortcuts, and this is coming out as a kind of a painterly invention, and that some idea of this may go possibly in front of here. But this, incidentally, is the unconscious of the post-mortem unconscious of Vincent van Gogh, called Alma Thelma. They're just these Puerto Rican novels I found in the street. You know, they were just like there outside on the doorstep. No. The sea clamp was not on there, but this has become like a painterly motif, you know, see, Alma. And so I painted the back and the front.
So you painted the back?
And the front, Alma Thelma.
Oh, it's been...
inside this truck, which was also on the street. So this has been in the studio for a year. And it wasn't until I discovered the next big theme. I've evolved this painting system, which I'm calling quantum plastics.
Quantum plastics?
Super realist quantum plastics, you know? It's like it could be like a South American dance, you know, quantum plastics.
Well,
I wonder what it would sound like in Spanish. Can you speak Spanish?
No, I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm black.
Can anybody speak Spanish around here? Because quantum plastics in Spanish would sound real good. In German it sounds terrific. With a K.
Is there any...
Quantum plastic.
Is there any one thing, Malcolm Morley...
And the meaning of quantum plastic is that one is attempting to make the whole from the parts. Now, I'm trying to make what will become a painterly invention. That is, painterly invention for me is causing a certain contrast to take place and similarities at the same time on a painting surface. So what does that is causing changes of color, thicknesses of textures, you know, like contrasts. And I want all these contrasts to have a significant meaning that it isn't just, say, for example, the idea of painting billiard balls on a table, although they're quite plastic, they're quite visual. But they don't have what I feel I'm committed to, which is to make a kind of, a certain kind of symbolic realism. I've been developing some idea of a theory of painting, basically, and the early paintings were made in a certain kind of fashion which was similar in a sense to this. They were on grids, but they were rectangular grids, 90-degree grids. So they're always involved with the idea of going over a two-dimensional plane. And in fact, they were paintings of photographs. All right, okay, well, I don't know how to make shortcuts, but I mean, you know, to give you a history of the development of a painting system over, you know, from, you know, that period, was it 11 years ago?
Yes.
To now is just every painting that I've made will show each step, so that if they ever got all together, the paintings, you know, somebody would be able to follow every step of the way with it and just see it exactly develop. I want to separate, first of all, the idea of the subject matter right now, which is the passion for this funeral theme, you know, and separate the idea of the process that I've evolved, that is a system to perceive seeing. So in a way, I'm involved with the idea of constructing images as if the eye themselves is experiencing seeing.
Can we see perhaps a canvas that's finished, maybe that does this? You'd mentioned once to me a teacup painting. Is that around to be shown?
Yeah, there's a painting. It's over there. That also was done on rectangles.
Okay,
and that was when I was when I was a 90-degree bigot.
A 90-degree bigot. Yes. That means that I have a 10% chance.
That's because that means that I suffer from the 90-degree bias. And now I'm free of that bias.
Oops. Well,
you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's go have a look at this teacup painting, and at the same time we might pass by one of the reproductions. Okay, here we are at the teacup now. I noticed that it's written here, Kandinsky saw it this way, Cezanne made a living thing out of a teacup. And this
it says George King's teacup.
George King's teacup.
Well, actually, Bob Morris drank this tea. And at one point it was called Bob Morris's teacup.
Well,
then
George King, I know, masseurs all the kids at ballet theater, but you're losing it. You did get the cup from him.
And then, so that it's become actually literally George King's teacup, although it is Bob Morris's tea leaves. Although these actual tea leaves that are in here, that represent these tea leaves that are here, in fact, are not the real tea leaves that were here. Not that it really matters much.
Back to your painting. The painting is actually what we want to talk about, but if you understand that the teacup made the painting.
Yes, right,
this is stretched on a round canvas,
It's stretched on a round wooden stretcher. I'm trying to get away from the bias of the 90 degrees into a free space.
Can we just show?
Equilateral 60
Can we
degrees.
just show something that everyone can enjoy who may have? If this is in black and white. This is an etching of one of Malcolm's great oil paintings called Train Crash. Train wreck.
It was made from
Malcolm.
it's not even a model, it's a piece of sculpture. That,
Let me turn you around so we can see.
Okay, good.
Why don't you come stand over here?
Good. Okay, Ray, when I was in Paris, I was given this piece of sculpture by French artists. And, okay, so I built this grid, on top of the face of this, and then made a big painting of this. I did it backwards, as if it were a mirror. Remember we were talking about?
Yes.
And this etching has come from the, I think this came from the painting, and I did this backwards from the painting. And on the side it's got in Chinese, Russian, and Japanese train wreck. Because I'm interested in spoken words in paintings coming out of fingertips. Like the word says don't. As you put your finger down, it says don't. It shoots out like an electric spark. And I'm trying to work out this idea to put in this painting somehow.
Malcolm Morley has evolved a great deal since the Rotterdam and the Queen of Bermuda.
Well, I see it as an amplification and development of what you call style. Because for me, style is never a consideration. It's the result of doing something. Style is a byproduct. It's like the root of it is from, in Latin it says something like a stylus, a tool that people carve stone with. And the word style originated out of people's mistakes. Like if you made a bad mistake on an O, it meant that Ray always chipped out that O that way. So you get to recognize the way you made a mistake. So a great artist had great anonymity. He was an
Well, you're a little different, Malcolm, because you're actually the founder of a movement. And
it's very weird. It's like not really a movement at all, actually.
Well, I'd say super realism is is certainly a movement in art.
Well, yeah, I guess you have to say.
You have to be their founder of a movement, Malcolm. There's no way of getting out of it.
Well, if I had known what was being moved.
Well, that's another business indeed.
You can't be responsible for it. No.
We're going to walk over and why don't we
get the baby up into green. Oh, the thing about the ladder is that it makes you really abbreviate. It's just like you're going up and down the ladder. And I'm trying to remember triads of things, like threes. So I go up and look through one of those. Well, we have a name for these planes. They're called paint-ons. Paint-on, like P-A-I-N-T-O-N, like a photon. See, hand me a paint-on. I'm in a paint-on girl.
Now, how long will it take you to
I'm going to get some green.
I'll put on your other side here. How long will it take you, Malcolm, to complete a painting, say, of the size of this canvas? If you worked at your normal, unhastened, every...
I don't have any. I mean, there's no way of knowing. I'm doing about 2 or 3 of these trials a day, 2 a day, sometimes 1. Then there's a week in between. Like, for example, take this out here. This is one of the centers, which is the bottom of a billiard cue and part of the shoulder of Theo Van Gogh. So now,
medical program.
There's a painting, and that took, 5 minutes. So I made a painting in 5 minutes.
Oh.
I mean, there's a painting. Every brushstroke is a painting. So it's a never-ending process,
Well, that's in the overall, Malcolm. I was just trying to get a general idea. So there's no, you don't really...
First of all, there's no general idea. There's only a specific about everything. Like, whoops. I haven't put the center back very well.
No, and Vincent now has a crooked shoulder, a new deformity inside of one ear.
Well, I just wanted to show something about painting in time. Together, but it doesn't matter. I think I'll just put it up here for a minute.
Okay. Well, we're going to leave Malcolm up here on the ladder painting. I'm going to get down and go visit someone else hanging in Soho.